ranking the things I did this year. Which, again, is gonna have the Metal Gear games here. Which may seem redundant, but what the hell? Let's do this. Let me recrop this. Hold on. Let's get that there. Start moving this down. Oh, that was wrong. Okay. I should get off the Metal Gear Solid music as well. What do I want as my backing track here? Because I don't want to do this in silence. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so the list is off screen because so let's how am I gonna do this? I think I will start everything in the abyss and they have to climb their way out. So first up, the first thing I did this year was watch Venom 3: The Last Dance. I kinda like this movie, and I kinda don't like this movie. I like half this movie. There's the Sonic Unleashed of movies to me. Venom 3: The Last Dance, whenever it's about Eddie and Venom, is really fun. Whenever it's about anything else, it's kinda not as fun. I do like seeing the other symbiotes come up. I think it kinda sucks that by the end of the movie, all... Yeah, spoiler warning, I guess. But yeah, by the end of the movie, all of the other symbiotes die, and Venom possibly died as well. It's up in the air on that one. Tom Hardy's done with the movies now, so yeah, the movies themselves are... The Venom movies could come back, but Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock is done, which is a shame. But it is what it is. You do need to move on at some point. You don't want to be stuck in the MCU too long, especially the Sony MCU. But I think this gets to work its way up to fine. I do like parts of this. There's fun moments with Venom and Eddie, and I think that makes it to go up to fine at the very least. A secret level. I'm also... Secret level gets to go in fine for now. I do like episodes of this. I think the Pac-Man episode is interesting. I think... Hold on, I need to get the list of episodes for Secret Level, because there's a lot. I think the Unreal Tournament episode of this is very fun. One of my big hang-ups is there's like multiple episodes where the story of the episode is, oh hey, the main character dies a bunch, and then like they keep dying over and over again. You get a montage of all their deaths, and then the end of the episode is them learning how to avoid said death or learn a lesson from it. And having multiple episodes of that in a short season is kind of bad. Especially since they're both pretty short episodes. Like Spelunky is one of those episodes and it's very short, and I think the other one was New World. And I think the New World episode just did it better because the New World episode was funnier. There's a few episodes that are just kind of slop that rolled off my mind, like the Crossfire episode I still could not describe to you in the least. The Outer Worlds episode was okay. The Exodus episode again was slop. Hold on, no, I'm gonna have to put this in bad. I just remembered the Concord and the PlayStation episodes exist. And those are two of the most creatively bankrupt dick-riding episodes I've ever seen. And they're terrible. They're absolutely awful, awful pieces of television. I think I can leave the secret level discussion there. I don't need to elaborate past that. So, Sonic Prime Season 2. I'm going to put in fine. I think Sonic Prime Season 2 is fun and interesting. Well, not interesting, but it's a fun watch right up until the ending, where they do the ending cliffhanger that goes into Season 3. I also think the Sonic Prime version of Metal Sonic kinda sucks. But we get Shadow in this season. Shadow is fun in this season. And that's kind of where all my positives about that I can talk about ends, because I don't really remember too much about it, but I do remember enjoying it. At least enjoying it enough to put it in fine. Next up was, I started Reignatus last year, but I finished it this year, so it's on this list, and I think Reignatus gets to go in good. It's very simplistic in its gameplay. It's very easy and button mashy to play, but I had a good time with it. I did enjoy the characters in it. The story isn't phenomenal or great, but it was serviceable. The Yoko Shimomura soundtrack really carries this. I do need to go back and actually do the final boss that was added as DLC. I did do it on a stream for a little bit, but then I got soft locked and I never played the game again after that. But that's not that doesn't indicate anything about the game's quality. I do think that the game was fun to play, and I'm glad I played it, and it's honestly 99% of the reason it's in good is because of vibes. Which, the vibes of Sonic Prime Season 3 are abysmal. In fact, it's so abysmal, it should be in endless trash. People will defend Sonic Prime Season 3 by going, oh, it's a kids show, it's fine if it's kind of bad. No, kids deserve better than this. Kids deserve things on the level of, like, Avatar and Ben 10. They do not deserve Sonic Prime Season 3. This season is a season of nothing ever happens. An episode starts, there's an instigation of conflicts. The conflict ends at the end of the episode, and then it renews itself also at the end of the episode to lead into the next one. And it's just constant. We're trying to do Avengers, big climactic battle, but it doesn't work in this show. And yeah, it's kind of awful. Which I can't say much more than that. Like, I really disliked Sonic Prime Season 3. Another thing I really disliked, probably not as much, is the Dark Pictures Devil in Me. I enjoy these Dark Pictures games. Sorry, 1 second. I really enjoy the Dark Pictures games. I played them co-op with a friend. And they've always been a relatively good time. The second one had an ending we didn't like, but then the third one won us back over with just how insane it was. And so Devil in Me it was riding off that feeling of like, oh hey, it's we're coming back on a high. This one is set as like an actual murderer is going around somewhere. Like there's no supernatural element. It's just a slasher fic. It should be good. And this ended up being the worst one. It was buggy. It was broken. None of the characters were good or interesting. The killer wasn't good. Things shift in this that don't make sense depending on your decisions just to make things happen sporadically and with no rhyme or reason. There's multiple endings that are dictated by very stupid decisions. Yeah, no, this is easily the worst Dark Pictures game. And it was rough to play as well. Like, these games are generally like walk around and then make a decision, and they couldn't even get that part of it running well. It was terrible. And then we've got Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima gets to go above Reinatas, but sticking good. I like Ghost of Tsushima. I think its gameplay is fun. I'm not a huge fan of how much there is to do in the open world, if I'm going to be honest. On the first island, I basically cleared out everything I could do in Act 1. And by the time I got to Act 2 and started doing a lot of the same activities, and I was already 15 hours into the game because I 100%ed Act 1. I decided it wasn't worth doing anymore. I was getting kind of bored doing it. And so I just started mainlining this game. And once I started mainlining the game and doing the side missions that actively upgraded my skill set or gave me character stories, I started enjoying the game a lot more. And because I had 100%ed the first act, I felt like the rest of the game didn't really give me much trouble because I had so many upgrade materials. I just kind of got a lot of things going that just made me really strong. So it's a good game. It could have been great if I played it a different way, where I just mainlined the game and did story important side missions. But because I played it in a way where I was 100%ing things for a little bit of time, and then that just made me overpowered for the rest of the game, I had a worse time with the game than was probably intended. But I still enjoyed it overall. I still thought it was a good game, just wasn't as good as other people had made it seem to me. And then immediately after, I just went straight into the Ghost of Tsushima Iki Island DLC, which is fine. It's short, it's sweet. The story's kind of silly. Jin Sakai gets put into the Scarecrow Nightmare gas dimension for a lot of it. And it's kind of interesting in that sense. There's a story going... If I remember it right, there's a story going on about how Iki Island is the island where his dad, like, butchered a lot of people because of a war or something or another. And so the people of that island have a resentment towards Jin Sakai because of that, but he ends up winning them over by just helping them out and being the good person that he is. But yeah, there's not a lot going on in the Iki Island DLC, and the Scarecrow gas stuff is just funny to me. But yeah, it's not as strong, and I rank it separately because it was a separate purchase I had to do. And so it doesn't really add much to the Ghost of Tsushima package for me. So it's just kind of there. Captain America Brave New World. I want to put this in... I think they're in fine. I want to note that my only notes for this movie in my media list of review notes is that they surf Dracula to Red Hulk. If anyone knows what surf Dracula means, they'll get that instantly. For the people that don't, Surf Dracula is a very, very popular term to throw around for. Let's say there's a Netflix show called Surf Dracula. You expect to see a surfing Dracula, but actually the Netflix version of the show is that 99% of the show is about how Surf Dracula needs to learn how to surf again. He needs to get the motivation back up, and then you don't see him surfing until the last 5 minutes of the season. That's what Captain America Brave New World did with Red Hulk. He's all over the marketing, he's all over the trailers, he's all over everything about this movie. He's in the damn poster that I have as the thumbnail for this. And he's only in the movie for like 5 minutes. At the end, they surf Dracula to Red Hulk. But besides that, it's fine. I think people give it a worse track record online than it actually deserves. But it was just a decent popcorn flick. I don't feel too strongly one way or the other about it. Now, something I really did enjoy. The reason I watched Captain America Brave New World was because I was out in Queensland earlier this year when that was in theaters. And the reason I was out in Queensland was because I was watching AEW Grand Slam live. Like, I was actually at the event. And that was a great time. I really love that. It's the first time I've gone to a major wrestling show. Like, I've been to a couple of the local ones before, but when it comes to like the known entities like AEW, WWE, New Japan, Ring of Honor, they don't usually come out here. WWE has done tours in Australia before, but I've never been able to go to the shows, and now that I have disposable income and this happened, I was like, oh hell yeah, I'm going to go to AEW because I really like AEW more than WWE, and I'm so glad I did go to see that. It was a great show. I really enjoyed my time there. I lost my voice for like a day because I was cheering that hard. Being in a crowd full of people singing Edge's theme song is a feeling that I didn't know was something I needed to experience, but I'm glad I did. Yeah, no. That was just like something I really enjoyed doing, and I'll be doing it again this year because AEW is coming to Sydney this year for Grand Slam. Godzilla -1. I'm putting this in great right now. It might be in the top 10, but I need to thin out the list of things I've done before I start deciding on the top 10. So it gets to sit in great for now. I have a feeling it's gonna crack into that top 10 because this is a phenomenal movie. From minute one, it's engaging, and the main character just goes through it. And Godzilla is just terrifying in this movie. It's insane. And I don't know how else to describe it. It's just a spectacular Godzilla movie. I think everyone should watch it. And after that, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man came out this year, which, I'll be nice, I'll put it above The Last Dance, but this was also just kind of fine. I don't have strong impressions about this. I did enjoy it. You can very clearly see the parts of it where it was cut out from being an MCU show. Like, this started off as supposed to be the origin story of Tom Holland's Peter Parker, but it got spun off into being its own universe, and you can see the lingering threads of that old script. But yeah, no, this was fine. The main issue I have with it is it just kind of spins its wheels for a while to get characters where they need to be for season 2, which is something I despise in streaming shows, where, especially knowing how some of these shows work, where season 1 and season 2 are just the same season, but they've split it into 2 seasons to save money. It's really annoying. And Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is just the beginning of that trend this year for me. which goes into What If Season 2. What If Season 2 gets to sit in good. I need a list of what episodes are in this one, but I do recall What If Season 2 being pretty strong. I know from behind the scenes stuff that some episodes got shifted around on this. But I enjoyed this one. The Nebula episode is pretty fun. The Kahori episode, I think, is in this one, and it's just kind of... It's okay. Peter Quill, it's... Hold on. Sorry, I'm looking at the summary of some of these episodes. I think the one where Happy Hogan saved Christmas is kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. I think people don't like that one. I kind of enjoyed it. The Iron Man crashed into the Grandmaster episode that kind of gets Mad Maxy is a lot of fun. The Captain Carter one where she fights the Hydra Stomper is fine. I like it. Oh, I actually really like the episode of What If Hela Found the 10 Rings. That one, I don't know what it is, but that one's really good to me. And then we have, What If the Avengers Assembled in 1602, which, again, another fun episode. And then What If Strange Supreme Intervened. That one's kinda to me. But overall, I think the split in episodes between being good and being kinda is on the positive side. So yeah, I think that one gets to stay in good. Penny's Big Breakaway is going above Ghost of Tsushima in good. I really like this game. I think it's a lot of fun. The platforming is great. The yo-yo mechanics are really fun, and the sense of speed and momentum you get on it are great. I'm sad that Evening Star didn't sell a lot on this. I feel like they took a hit with this game, which is a shame because I'm really rooting for Christian Whitehead and his studio to do really good work outside of Sonic. And yeah, this was a fun game. I'm glad I played it on stream. I don't know if I have much more to say besides that. Besides, I really enjoyed it, and if anyone's watching this, here's my plea: please go buy it and support Evening Star and give it a try. It's cute and charming and fun. Monster Hunter Wilds. I'm not even gonna front, this is going to be in my top 10. I really like Wilds. I've been playing it a lot this year. You can see on my VOD channel that I've been playing this a lot this year, and my stream history, I've been playing it a lot. Every title update just makes this game better and better. Even then, I thought that the main game itself wasn't that bad. I feel like it did have problems, but I feel like people exaggerated the problems a little bit, and I have issues with the game and the way that the maps function. I think they could have done more with the interconnectivity between the maps, because they have like these hallways where you can go between the maps to go from one place to the next, but there's no actual reason for them to exist besides them existing for the story. I feel like most people forget that that's even a thing in the game. But once the Grand Hub was introduced and I just started doing hunts through the Grand Hub, this game just clicks way more. And then Lagiacrus came out, added the underwater set piece moment for that, and that was really cool. Then Omega came out, and Omega is like one of the most fun monsters I've fought in a Monster Hunter game so far. And now Gogmasios is here, and Gogmasios is amazing. And just the way the camera is directed in this game can at times make the world seem beautiful. It's a really good game. I really hope that the expansion gets more people back on its side because Wilds is good. I really like it. And then next up is What If Season 3. And I think there's such a drop in quality that What If Season 3 goes into the bad list. I shouldn't say that. But honestly, Season 3 was pretty bad. We've got What If the Hulk Fought the Mecha Avengers, which should be an awesome episode, but it suffers from being a story that should have like an hour plus to really flesh it out, and being stuck to like 30 to 40 minutes, I think it is. Maybe not even that. It might be 20 to 25. Yeah, no, it like the Mecha Avengers should be really cool, and they made it really lame. What If Agatha Went to Hollywood is pretty bad and still probably the best episode in this season. What If the Red Guardian Stopped the Winter Soldier, which is an episode I kinda remember happening, but not great. What If Howard the Duck Got Hitched was... The less I say about that episode in particular, the better, so I'm moving on because trauma. What If the Emergence Destroyed Earth, which is... Okay, this one's kinda okay, but suffers from the same thing as the Avengers one, where it needed more time. What If 1872? I don't even... Oh, What If 1872 is the episode where Shang-Chi and Kate Bishop are in the Wild Wild West, which honestly, I kind of dig this one. I wish it had more time to be fleshed out more. I feel like that's my main complaint with a lot of these episodes. I wish they had more time to be fleshed out. But this one was like a genuinely good episode that I did enjoy. What If the Watcher disappeared, and then What If is a two-parter that ends the series. And they're okay. They're fine. But yeah, I wasn't feeling Season 3 as much as I was feeling Season 2 or Season 1. So yeah, let's move on from that. The Sonic Unleashed Recompile. I am putting it up here next to Godzilla -1, in between that and being at AEW. Sonic Unleashed is one of my favorite Sonic games, and getting a version of it that runs well, looks great, runs really, really easily on PC. It's everything I could have asked for with this game. It's almost to the point where Sega probably shouldn't do a remaster of this game, because what we have is too good. It can't be topped, and we got it for free. In saying that, Sega, do please actually make a remaster re-release with bonus content. I will happily give you more money for Sonic Unleashed. But yeah, no, this Recompile is a fantastic project that came together, and should be the way people experience Sonic Unleashed. It's very easy to get, very easy to run. I cannot recommend this enough. And then I read the entire Invincible comic this year. I want to put it... Let's just leave it there for now. Invincible is a great comic. I enjoyed my time with this. I watched the first season of the show. I haven't watched season 2 or 3, but after the first season, I did start this back then. And I started from the beginning. I wasn't like, oh yeah, I know where season 1 ends, so I'll just pick up from there. But, no, I started reading it, and then I was like, No, I shouldn't. I, I don't know what happened. I just kind of dropped off it, and then I yeah, I kind of fell off it, and then I picked it back up this year, and I I read through it all properly this time. Started over again from front to back, and I really liked it. I think it has one of the best endings to a story I've seen in quite a long time. And for the person in chat, I'm sorry I don't just add random people on Discord like that. If you want to suggest something, just do it in chat, please. But yeah, no, Invincible, very good comic. I feel like near the end it was starting to fall off a little bit, but the ending was really strongly done that it kind of made up for things getting a bit weak near the end. Oh. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, Devil May Cry, the Netflix series, gets to stay in the abyss. It's terrible. I curious watched this, and I regret every second of it. This is a terrible adaptation. Everything that's come out about the show afterwards is even worse. Like, apparently Adi Shankar only picked up the rights to do a Devil May Cry show because he thought he was going to save the series, and then Devil May Cry 5 came out, revived the series, and he got pissed off, which is probably why the show took so long to come out. Everything about this show is terribly done, terribly handled. The themes are awful, the representation of characters is awful. Lady is butchered in this. The song inserts are pretty badly placed. The episode that everyone says is the best episode of the series, which is where they play Lady and the main villain's backstories side by side while playing an Evanescence song, is just... it's so self-masturbatory in Adi Shankar thinking he's such an artist that I feel like people who say that's the best episode don't respect animation or art. Like, that's the vibe I get from it. Like, people, specifically when people praise that episode and say it's a phenomenal episode of television, I'm just like, no, stop. That's wrong. And in the entire ending sequence, like the last 4 minutes of this show are so laughably bad. I need to move on. So we're gonna go up to the entirety of Bleach. Might even crack top 10 for me. This is a phenomenal manga. I think out of the big three, it beats Naruto. One day I will read One Piece and then decide if Bleach beats that or not. It probably won't. But Bleach is great. I think even the weaker parts of this are really good. Like, people say the Fullbring arc is terrible, and I had a good time with the Fullbring arc. There's so much of this that is just aura farming to the max. It sucks that by the end of it, you can feel that they just wanted this manga to be done and over, because the ending comes really abruptly. It sucks that happens to Tite Kubo. There's a couple of hangers I have, like they tease things near the end of the Aizen arc, where some of Ichigo's human friends start being able to notice Soul Reaper activities, and then they just kind of drop that going into the Fullbring arc, which kind of sucks. But the cast of Bleach is so big that juggling so many characters like that already was a Herculean task. And no, yeah, I really like every character. Like, I don't think there's a terrible character in this manga, and every arc was a delight to read. Like, I cannot suggest people read Bleach enough. Like, people really need to go check that out. Apollo Justice. Apollo Justice is a hard one. I think it gets a sitting great. I really like Apollo Justice. There's one case that I don't like. I think it was 4-3. Yeah, case 3 of this. I really don't like. And when I freshly played Apollo Justice, the more I thought about case 3, the angrier I got every time. It was just kind of nonsensical, and things were not progressing great in that case, and situations didn't make sense. It wasn't a good one, but everything else around that was good, and I really like how Phoenix Wright is portrayed in this game. I know a lot of people don't, but I think him becoming like this weird, kind of aloof, kind of distant guy that's doing things in the background while you're dealing with the cases is really, really interesting take of his character after he loses his license to be an attorney. I don't know why I was stumbling over the word attorney so much, but yeah, no. That was a really interesting take on his character, and I did have a really good time with this game. I think some of the stuff with the ending twists was like, I do specifically remember as the final case was going and I was nearing the conclusion, I was getting pretty sucked into the moment. So yeah, I think Apollo Justice does get to live in great for me. And then we get Daredevil Born Again, which I'm gonna put at the top of fine. It does that same thing that Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man did, where it spins its wheels for a while to get things going for a season 2 that isn't out yet. And that kind of annoys me. But there are some pretty good episodes in here. It's just, it takes too long to really get going. But the acting in it is actually really good. Like, the characters are really good, the acting's really good. It's just progression halts a lot. And I think that's what holds it back. Ghost Trick gets to go top 10. Ghost Trick is an instant top 10. I don't know how else to describe it other than it's phenomenal. It's got one of the best video game dogs in existence with Missile. Missile is the goodest of boys. But yeah, no. Ghost Trick is a really interesting game. They take what works about the Phoenix Wright games and turns them into more of a proper puzzle game. And it's interesting how far they can get with just the simple idea of turning things on and off or switching places with things. There's some mechanics that only exist for a handful of like one you'll use it once and then it'll disappear and come back again like near the end of the game, and you gotta like really stretch your brain muscles to figure out some of these puzzles. And the way the story progresses and mysteries unfold and the way things are left on cliffhangers after chapters only to resolve in unexpected ways in the next chapter is really interesting. yeah, no, I think Ghost Trick is a really well written and well crafted game that everyone should play. And I played the PC version, which I think is supposed to be a lesser experience than the DS version. I'm not 100% sure on that one. But even then, with a lesser experience, I did enjoy this one a lot. And yeah, anything that goes into my top 10 is like instant recommend. I think everyone should go and experience it if they haven't already. Oh, this one's a tough one to rank. This next one is really tough. I watched the Mr. McMahon documentary, and I think it gets to go above Renatus in good, because overall I think it is a very good documentary that gets very heated, very dark, and very real very quickly. All I'll say about the Miss McMahon documentary is fuck the McMahon family and fuck Hulk Hogan. Every time Iron Sheik said fuck the Hulk Hogan, he was justified in saying that. Super Psychic Policeman Chojo ended this year. This was a manga I was keeping up with from the beginning, and I like it. It's a weekly gag manga that just kind of ran for a while. Didn't really have an overall plot. It kind of spun its wheels a little bit when it came to an overall plot, but the gags every week were good, and I did like the characters in it. Not a lot to say on that front. I was sad that it ended, but I understood why it ended. The ending is a little esoteric as well, but overall, worth checking out. I think the chapters it did where it was based on Yu-Gi-Oh! Are some of my favorite chapters in shonen gag mangas too. I also read All New Ghost Rider for the first time, and I'll put it there in good. I'll be honest up front. I only read All New Ghost Rider because Robbie Reyes was announced for Tokon, and I really, really wanted to know what his deal was. So I gave this comic a go, and it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. And that's kind of all I have to say on that front. Like, All New Ghost Rider was a good read. Oh, another rough one. Mario Kart World. Do I be mean or do I be fair? I'm gonna be slightly mean and put it in fine. The open world sucks. The open world of Mario Kart World offers no value, no substance. I could go without it. And the main form of interacting with the game is through the intermission tracks, which aren't as good as just doing the tracks in 3 laps. I think the kart racing mechanics are very strong. I think the addition of rail grinding and wall riding are really interesting for the Mario Kart formula. It just sucks that the majority of the time you're playing this game, you aren't directly in a track that incentivizes using it. My favorite track in the game is the ruins in the clouds, because they do incentivize using those mechanics a lot in that track, and it's the most interesting and fun track in the game because of it. So it sucks when you're doing a race and it's like, okay, we're going to do an intermission for like 2/3, like not even 2/3, like the majority of the race time, and then you do one lap on that track and then it's over. So yeah, I think those things all kind of compound into making Mario Kart World just a fine game instead of a good one, which is a similar feeling I have for Berserk Boy, where Berserk Boy is a very interesting, very fun game mechanically. It's kind of Mega Man Zero ZX core, but it also wants to be a more of a linear game. So you go into a hub and then you go out into doing into stages, but each stage is broken up into basically 4 acts. So it runs into a problem for me where you're going through multiple similarly themed levels back to back until you reach the boss of that segment, and I feel like that kind of holds it back a bit. I think it would have been better if it was more traditional Mega Man or Mega Man X style, where you picked between 8 bosses and went and got their power-ups, but you only get 3 or 4 in this, and they stretch out like those 3 or 4 bosses to have 4 stages each. So it's not the best. It's fine. I had a good time playing it, but it could have been better. But it could have been worse. Oh, now this one is interesting to me. Donkey Kong Country, I will put in good. Where in good? On the lower end, not below these. No. Okay, it's in the higher end. I'll put it there. I didn't really gel with Donkey Kong Country as much as I thought I would. I still had a decent enough time with it, but I feel like I don't enjoy it as much as most other people do. It was my first time playing it. I was partially blind. I know some things about it, but not a lot. But I just kind of game overed a ton and fell into a lot of the beginner traps. Like, some of the enemy placements are kind of very mean-spirited, and the game doesn't control as good as I was expecting it to. So I just kind of didn't really gel with Donkey Kong Country as much as I thought I would have, but I still think it's a good game. It unfortunately didn't click with me. I hope I'd like Donkey Kong Country 2 more than I like Donkey Kong Country 1. Oh, and now we have Uma Musume Pretty Derby, which is at least going in great. Let's put it there for now. I was addicted to this game for like a month. I have 50-something hours over a 30-day period, because every day I would log in and do my dailies and then do a career run, which would take me like anywhere from 30 to 60, 70 minutes. I really liked it. I don't know why I like it, but raising a horse girl and then putting her on the tracks and then getting very into like the animation work of the race and hoping my skills pop and hoping my horse girl wins and I trained her right was very compelling. I was glued to that game for a long time until I got my El Condor Pasa victory, and then I was like, okay, I achieved the main goal I had for this game. I'm done, and pulled myself away from it. And I got a lot of joy out of it as just a freemium player. I didn't spend any money on this, but I got a lot out of it. And now we're up to where the Metal Gear Marathon begins. It's gonna be different. Things are gonna be placed. They're still gonna keep the consistency, but because they're being put into this bigger list of things, things might shift around a bit. And I think Metal Gear goes above Renatus. I think Metal Gear goes there. I don't want to harp on the Metal Gear games too long, but I do think Metal Gear MXX deserves to be above Mario Kart World and Renatus in terms of video games. So it's gonna stick there. And then Metal Gear 2... does it go into great? No. It goes above Penny's Big Breakaway, but it doesn't break into being great. And I think I'm comfortable putting Metal Gear 2 there. And now we have another top 10. We have Expedition 33, which is going right there. Expedition 33 is one of the best things I've done this year. It's got very fun gameplay. It's got a really great story and cast. It's amazingly acted. It's such a great video game. I don't know how to describe it. Like, I have a lot of really great and positive feelings about this. And it's hard to put into words, is the main problem. I think everything main story related is exceptionally strong in this game. Like, from start to finish of the main story, I want to stress the main story is incredible and extremely fun. It's when you get into the Act 3 side bosses that things start to spiral downwards a little bit. And I feel like you get put into a point where you just either have to nuke the boss or just deal with their bullshit, and their bullshit kind of gets a little annoying. And I think that part of the game is weakly designed. And I think because you get the painted power before you finish the game, it kind of disrupts that feeling of, at least for me, it made me go, okay, I have unlimited damage potential. I can just go and do whatever I want whenever I want. Where if getting painted power was something you got after the final boss, then you'd be more inclined to do those extra things after finishing the story. And I think that would have been paced out a bit better. There's also a couple of story issues once you get into Act 3. Mainly, there's some dungeons that should have been mandatory, but they're not. Some characters lose relevance. But I think the ending sequences are strong enough to kind of make up for those complaints. I think the ending of the game, which I won't spoil, is really, really interesting, and the discussion around it has been interesting. And I think one way of interpreting the ending is very wrong. And I'll leave it at that. But I really enjoyed Expedition 33. I thought it was a lot of fun. I don't know if I'd replay it anytime soon though, because playing it is kind of exhausting. And then following up on Super Psychic Policeman Shoujo, Shoha Shoten also wrapped up this year, and that one is also going into great. I really like Shoha Shoten. It's a shonen manga about manzai comedy, where all of the characters really get to shine throughout it. Like, they do a lot of groups. They introduce a lot of groups. They give them all very well done backstories and motivations. And so you just kind of follow these two startup manzai comedians trying to make their way to the top of their division. And it's a really good read. I'd heavily recommend people check it out. Metal Gear Solid 1. Now, I'm putting it in great. This could be a top 10 contender, but technically this is a replay for me, so I'm keeping it out of the top 10. Top 10 I want to be all new things I did this year. But in saying that, it's better than that. It's better than that. It's better than that. And do I like Metal Gear Solid more than I like Sonic Unleashed? That's a rough question, and I don't think I do. I think I like Sonic Unleashed more than Metal Gear Solid 1. Which is something that might be a little fucked up to say. I don't know if I can elaborate on that, so I'm just gonna move on and put Metal Gear Solid 2 and Metal Gear Solid 3 into top 10. Yeah. Let's do that. And then Metal Gear Solid 4 gets to live in great, but it's gonna go belong being at AEW. And then Metal Gear Rising gets to go in good. I think that's how that's gonna shake up. How many do I have in the top 10 at the moment? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've still got room. Donkey Kong Bonanza's going in there. Donkey Kong Bonanza's a fun game where the final couple of hours of it are some of the best final hours of a Nintendo game I've ever experienced, and it deserves to be in the top 10 for that alone. And now for something a little different. In September, I played a lot of 2D Sonic games. So let's quickly rattle these off. Sonic the Hedgehog 1 gets to go in fine. Sonic CD gets to go in good. It gets to go above Metal Gear, it gets to go above Donkey Kong Country, and it gets to sit there. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, surprisingly, is a game that I wasn't too hot on before my subathon. But after the subathon, I really came around on, and it gets to go up, and up, and up. There. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, after my marathon, got to go up quite a few places. I didn't really care for the game beforehand, but a replay really refreshed my opinion on it, and I'm so glad I did that subathon purely for getting new appreciation of this game. Sonic the Hedgehog 3, one of the all-timers. I think... Oh god, this is another thing where I have to decide if I like a Sonic game more than Metal Gear Solid 1. I think I like Sonic 3 and Knuckles even more than Sonic Unleashed. Yeah, I think that's accurate. Sorry, I'm mulling over this in my head, and I think that is correct. I think that is how that should live. Sonic Mania. Oh god, I have to choose. Do I like I like Sonic Mania more than I like Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles. I just do. I can't deny that. And while I was doing the marathon, Sonic Mania woke me the fuck up when I was falling asleep playing these. Like, the Sandopolis and a couple of other areas were getting a bit rough. I was falling asleep in my chair playing them, and then I got to Sonic Mania, and I was lit up again the entire time. Oh god, I need to reconfigure this. I'm sorry, I need to just adjust this a little bit. There we go. Next up, Sonic Crossworlds. And Sonic Crossworlds gets to go in the top 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 in there. I get to pick 2 more things to go in there. And... Sonic Crossworlds is just so good. I really, really like this game. It might be my favorite kart racer. Everything about it is so much fun. I like coming back to the festivals. It plays like a dream. It re-brought in the Extreme Gear, which I'm so happy about, because if we're not going to get another Sonic Riders game, then by God, at least give me the Extreme Gear in a racing game, which they've done. They've done now. And it's... I do have a couple of complaints about the single player outing in this game, which I don't know if I'll ever do a video on. I want to, but that requires me scripting and doing things outside of time where I could be streaming. But no, Crossworlds is a lot of fun. It's very quickly become one of my favorite racing games to ever play, and every time I come back to it, it's a joy to play. And another easy top 10. Chainsaw Man the movie, the Res Arc. This is hands down one of the best anime movies ever created, in my opinion. It's a perfect adaptation of the Res Arc. I love Chainsaw Man. I love the Res Arc. This movie was so good. I watched it in theaters. It moved me. I didn't know how much I needed this in my life, but they did it justice. It was phenomenal. I could not give this movie enough praise if I tried. Everyone needs to watch it. I say it is mandatory watching it as an anime fan. What's next? Peace Walker. Where did I rank Peace Walker? It was below Revengeance, but above Metal Gear 2. So yeah, let me double check that. Yeah, that's exactly where it was. So it gets to live there. For consistency's sake. And then Ground Zeroes was above Revengeance and below Metal Gear Solid 4. So... No, I'm not going to let it break into great. Ground Zeroes gets to sit there. And then Pokemon Legends Z to A. I think Z to A... I'm going to put it at the top of great for now. I feel like I'm going to have to make a decision between Pokemon or Godzilla -1 for the top 10. So I want it to live there for a second while I mull it over. But Z to A was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It's a very comfy game to play. I really enjoy just running around Lumio City, interacting with the Pokemon there, interacting with a lot of the environments, running around and parkouring on a lot of stuff, and climbing onto the rooftops and running off them to glide to other things. I really hope that the next mainline Pokemon game has towns and cities as... not as intricately designed, because that's going to be asking for a lot, but at least feel like they attempt to be lived in cities like Lumiose was. Because Lumiose has set a new precedent for 3D city spaces in Pokemon for me. Then next we have the Phantom Pain, which I can't be too mean to it. It's better than Prime Season 2. It's better than Brave New World. It's better than The Last Dance. Is it better than Iki Island? Oh, I ran into a roadblock. I don't think it's better than Iki Island for me. Iki Island was kind of nothing. Phantom Pain actively upsets me. I think that's where it gets blocked. Oh god, okay, K-pop Demon Hunters is also going to live up in great. I watched that recently. Sorry. Throat, something got stuck in my throat. I've watched this pretty recently. And I really, really enjoyed this. I think it's a great movie. There's some hang-ups that mostly, like What If Season 3, where most of my hang-ups with this movie are more on the realm of, I think they could have done more if they were given more time. And so it ends up just feeling like nitpicks because they did what they needed to do. Like, this was very much a focused movie that's told a story it wanted to tell. It's just, I would have liked to see more Saja Boys. I would have liked to see more exploration of other characters and ideas that were brought up and then just kind of not explored as deeply as they could have been. Like Rumi's half-demon heritage. I think there could have been a lot more done about that. Like, and the idea of having demons that might be good and not just soul-sucking, evil, annihilating the things that deserve annihilation. But again, that just feels like nitpicking for something the movie didn't have the time to do, so they just kind of focused, and maybe these things can be explored in new K-pop Demon Hunter things. Since the movie did so well, they should absolutely try to do some things to flesh it out some more. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it, and the songs in it are fantastic. Which brings me to The Bear Season 4, which I am putting in bad. The Bear Season 1 is one of my favorite seasons of TV I've seen in recent years. And every season has been declining rapidly, to the point where The Bear Season 4 feels really bad. And there's only moments in episodes that feel good rather than episodes within a season that feel good like there was with Season 3. Season 1, every episode was a banger. Season 2, a couple of episodes were good, but overall felt like it was spinning its wheels until we reached the conclusion. And conclusion was very strong, so it made up for spinning its wheels for so long. Season 3, back to spinning its wheels and only a couple of good episodes, but even then the finale wasn't strong, and the finale had their really stupid "we'll be back in Season 4" moment, and now Season 4's come, and it's like not even episodes are good anymore, it's just moments within episodes that are good, and it had a very, very bad ending to the point where I was like, please tell me there's a Season 5, because there's no way they end the show on this. And lo and behold, there's a Season 5, which means Season 4 probably suffered from them spinning their wheels even more because they knew there was going to be a Season 5. And it feels like Season 4 feels like I'm watching it out of obligation because I like Season 1 so much, which sucks. Well, we're almost done. We've only got 2 things left. And next up on the chopping block is Vanquish. Which I think Vanquish is better than Peace Walker, but not as good as Revengeance. I think I might have enjoyed Vanquish way more if I played it for the first time back in the day. Unfortunately, I'm playing it in current year, and it's fine, but a lot of the complaints I levied at Revengeance earlier, I levy at Vanquish too. It's very good mechanically and gameplay-wise, and it fails everywhere else. And even worse than that, I think Revengeance has a killer OST. I don't remember any music in Vanquish, which for a platinum game feels like a crime. And then to finish things off, today I binged Smiling Friends Season 4, and I'm just going to chuck that in great somewhere. Because this was a lot of fun to watch, and Smiling Friends is very easy to just kind of binge in an afternoon. I'm gonna put it above Uma Musume, but below Shoha Shoten. I feel like that's fair. Smiling Friends isn't something that's gonna be like super top tier, but it's fun to watch it when it's done. Like, I don't keep up with it weekly. I watch it when it's done and just binge it in an afternoon, since every episode is like 10 to 15 minutes long. 15 feels like it's pushing it. I feel like most of them are like reaching 12 maximum. So you get through it pretty fast, and it makes for an insane couple of hours to watch it. Okay, let's count my top 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have to make a choice between Godzilla -1, K-pop Demon Hunters, or Pokemon Legends Z to A. And right off the bat, I think K-pop Demon Hunters is staying in great. And now, further than that, I think Godzilla -1 gets to go ahead and be in the Kingdom of Greatness. That movie is just too good. Godzilla -1 is a phenomenal movie, and Pokemon Legends Z to A is just a very strong game that I enjoyed a lot. But compared to some of the other games in here, it doesn't stack up to them. While Godzilla -1 is a really good movie. Like, it stacks up with some great movies I've seen through my life. So now, we get the fun part of ranking these from bottom to top. And as much as I hate to do it, I think Ghost Trick gets to go number 10. And I don't want to make this seem like that's a bad thing. Ghost Trick being in the top 10 things I've done this year is still a phenomenal achievement. And it still gets to be highly recommended. I suggest everyone go play Ghost Trick. Also, hi Riku. I see you're shocked by this. But no, I love Ghost Trick. It hurts to put it down at number 10, but at the same time, number 10 is very respectable. And then after that, I think is Bleach. Bleach gets to go number 9. Which again, number 9, respectable placement. However, I feel like there's things that outdo Bleach on this list. Bleach flies by so much because I love it. I love how much aura it has. I love the art of it. I love the story. Tite Kubo is great, and he got fucked. And the ending being as rushed as it is kind of what holds it back from being any higher than where it is right now. And now I've got to actually start making very difficult decisions. Because most of these are really rock solid. I think Godzilla minus one gets to stick where it is at number 8. No, Godzilla minus one doesn't get to stick at number 8. I think I'm going to move Sonic Cross Worlds to number 8, which hurts me personally, but I need to be honest here. Godzilla minus one is too good of a movie to let Sonic Cross Worlds pass it by. Even if Sonic Cross Worlds has been taking my spot as one of my favorite races, and I played it again very recently on stream and had a phenomenal time playing it, and had like an insanely solid run of a race by playing Infinite and his theme. It's a very, very good kart racer, but Godzilla minus one is just that good of a movie. I need to put it up higher. And now Godzilla minus one gets to stick. Yeah, I think that's right. And then I'm gonna move Monster Hunter Wilds here. Again, I really love Monster Hunter Wilds. It's a great game. I've been having a great time playing it. But everything above it is just that good. Like, it's getting really hard to pick between these things, and Monster Hunter Wilds just kind of shakes a little bit when it comes to the rest of the competition. Oh, man. I think next is Metal Gear Solid 2. Metal Gear Solid 2 did change my brainwaves for a little bit. I stuck to this game really hard. Once I started Metal Gear Solid 2, I felt compelled to play it every day until I finished it. It changed me. But even then, these other things are just too good. And then I think DK, but you know what? No. DK Bonanza goes here, and then Metal Gear Solid 2 goes above it. DK Bonanza, I'm remembering, is solid, but there's a lot of downtime in that game. There's a lot of moments in that game where I wasn't feeling it as much as the other things above it, and I'm letting the ending dictate how strongly I feel about that game. But a lot of moments before the ending are just kind of fine when compared to the rest of these. So even though it has a phenomenal ending, I have to put it below the Metal Gear's Expedition 33 and Chainsaw Man movie. And surprisingly, I think Expedition 33 goes there. Again, I think this game is phenomenal. I think the story is fantastic. The music is exceptional. I just feel Act 3 kind of pulls it back a little bit, so it's not all the way solid. And so it being held back by a weak end game is going to be what puts it below these other two. So now I have to choose between Chainsaw Man or Metal Gear Solid 3 being my number 1 for the year. And I'll be honest, I came into this expecting it to be Metal Gear Solid 3, but I'm remembering how good Chainsaw Man the movie was. That movie was an experience in the theater. The music, phenomenal. The animation, incredible. Set pieces in that movie, expertly done. And I fucking love Rez. She's so good. Her and Denji were so perfect together. The ending was heartbreaking all over again, despite me already knowing how it was going to end. I was moved watching this. It was too good. If you haven't seen it already, I think it's available to stream. Please go see this movie. Chainsaw Man is a phenomenal manga, but the Res arc is like one of my favorite pieces of manga literature ever done, and the movie just expertly handles it. In fact, the movie might be better than the manga version. Even even the sorry, I don't want to accidentally get his name wrong. I'm pretty sure I know it's Tatsuki Fujimoto, but just to double check, yeah, Tatsuki Fujimoto. Tatsuki Fujimoto even says that the movie might outdoes his expectations compared to the manga in some aspects, and reviewing the ending of that arc through the movie has somehow changed him and made him forget how good of an ending it was, and made him realize, oh, I made a mistake. And yeah, Secret Level, that bad. Like, compared to everything else I've gone through this year, Secret Level, definitely that bad. And it's mostly because of the PlayStation and Concord episode. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty solid with this list. The Abyss existing purely for Devil May Netflix feels correct to me. Endless Trash being Dark Pictures, Devil in Me, and Sonic Prime Season 3 also feels correct to me. And then yeah, bad was just things that I find kind of bad despite maybe finding one or two things good about it. So Secret Level, there were a few episodes in there I like, but the bad parts of it really tank that. And then those things made that so stinky that I can't. So What If Season 3 and The Bear Season 4, despite liking less than it, sorry, Secret Level, there are things I enjoy more about it than What If Season 3 and The Bear Season 4, but the things sucked in Secret Level so bad that it's still below those. And then in Fine, we have Sonic Prime Season 2, Captain America Brave New World, Venom 3 The Last Dance, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain, Ghost of Tsushima Iki Island, Daredevil Born Again, Berserk Boy, Sonic the Hedgehog 1, and Mario Kart World. And I feel that is correct. I don't think I need to make any changes there. I'll make one change. I'm gonna put Daredevil Born Again above Berserk Boy. Yeah, that feels right. And then in good, we have What If Season 2, Rey Nartis, Super Psychic Policeman Chojo, Metal Gear MSX, Mr. McMahon, Ghost of Tsushima, Donkey Kong Country, Sonic CD, All New Ghost Rider, Penny's Big Breakaway, Metal Gear 2, Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, Vanquish, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, and Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. And I think the change I'm gonna make here is moving Metal Gear 2 down. No, I'll put it above All New Ghost Rider. I think I enjoyed Metal Gear 2 more than that, but Penny's Big Breakaway, I'm actually going to move up a few places. I think I enjoyed it more than Vanquish. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed Penny's Big Breakaway more than Vanquish. I feel like the movement and platforming in that was a lot more enjoyable than the movement and shooting in Vanquish. So that's how I'm going to settle there. Then the great list, we have Metal Gear Solid 4, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, being at AEW Grand Slam Live, Apollo Justice, Uma Masume Pretty Derby, Smiling Friend Season 4, Shoha Shoten, Invincible the Comic, Metal Gear Solid 1, the Sonic Unleashed Recomp, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles, Sonic Mania, K-Pop Demon Hunters, and Pokemon Legends Z to A, which all feels correct to me. I still feel kinda dirty for putting Metal Gear Solid 1 behind a bunch of Sonic games, but I can't deny who I am as a person. Yeah, so I didn't play Penny's Big Breakaway at launch, which probably helped. Because I played it after it got patched. There's still a couple of bugs. I think I fell through the floor once or twice. But overall, I found it pretty enjoyable. And learning how to go fast in that game was a lot of fun. It's not the deepest or most mechanically complex game, but for what it was a really fun attempt at a 3D game by Christian Whitehead's team. They did a really good job, I feel. If you can get it fairly cheap, I think it's worth getting. Sorry, I should actually pull chat up. Now that the person trying to jump into my Discord DMs is gone, I should actually pull this up. Sorry, I had to go to a different place so I could copy and paste this into the full screen. Oh, I want over there. Yeah, that looks good. It's a terrible time to do this because I'm going to be wrapping up soon. But hey, better late than never. Okay. And then in my Kingdom of Greatness, the top 2 to top 10, at the bottom, even though it hurts, is Ghost Trick. Then we have Bleach, the entire manga from start to finish. Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. Godzilla -1. Monster Hunter Wilds. Donkey Kong Bonanza. Metal Gear Solid 2. Expedition Tra Tra. Metal Gear Solid 3. And then the King Among Kings, Chainsaw Man the movie, the Res Arc. My dog got really upset over me saying Chainsaw Man was number 1. I might have to reconsider the list now. But yeah, no, this all feels correct to me. I think this is a pretty solid list. And my aim for next year is just to do even more things than I did on this year's list. Because I think I averaged maybe about a little over one thing a year. So, I want to consume more things. I want to see more media. I want to read more. I want to watch more movies. I want to play more games. But this one's fine. Also, Riku, if you're still here, hold on. Let me screenshot this one. I need to have this screenshotted for reasons. So let's get that screenshot done now while it's here. And almost done. So yeah, Riku, while you're here, you can probably tell from how it's placed here, but here is my Metal Gear list. And since you're here, you can help chime in on the Metal Gear 2 marathon. So yeah, for when it came to Metal Gear Solid, I put Metal Gear Solid 5 in bad. I didn't like how that ended up. And then Metal Gear MSX is in fine. And then most of the rest of the series in good, with Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 being in great, and Metal Gear Solid 3 being the best in its series. And then for a future Metal Gear Marathon 2 stream, I'm thinking... Sorry, 1 second again. So so yeah, when I get to about when I get to doing a second one of these to hit up some of the games I missed because I only did the mainline games here, I'm thinking of hitting up Snake's Revenge, VR missions if people think it's worth doing, which I want you to chime in here now if you think that's worth doing. Ghost Babel, which I've been convinced to do. Twin Snakes out of my own curiosity of wanting to play Twin Snakes and seeing how it's different from Metal Gear Solid 1. The Acid games I've put on doing, but I can be convinced if they're decided to not be worth doing on stream. Portable Ops I want to do, Survive I want to do, and then Delta I'm thinking would be worth doing just to play Metal Gear Solid 3 in a different way now that I have experience. Do you have any thoughts or comments on those? You've heard the Acid games are good. Okay, maybe they're worth doing. Also, I'm reading Dio's message now. I feel like with many previous years, I probably did a lot less than I had planned. I still have to finish Silk Song. I actually played through GPA Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories over the weekend and still have to wrap up Riku's story, which I probably will do later. Yeah, no, I was doing pretty well this year on doing a lot of things, and then as usual, like, once I hit the middle of the year, like, July to October-ish, maybe even June to October, things just slowed down to a halt for me. Like, I was making my way through the Metal Gear games, which was a thing. But I just slowed down on watching things. I was watching King of the Hill this year, and then something happened with my Disney Plus account, so I couldn't watch it anymore. So I didn't rank that despite watching like 3/4 of that, and I need to go back and finish it. And yeah, VR missions is probably a one-off stream, probably. Oh man, Kingdom Hearts I'm saving for when Kingdom Hearts 4 gets re-revealed. The moment Kingdom Hearts 4 is re-revealed, I'm putting everything on hold and streaming through all of the games again. I say again as if I streamed them before. No, I mean like, I'm going to play them all again and I'm going to do them on stream. Like, I don't care what I'm streaming at that time, it instantly goes on hold to do the Kingdom Hearts marathon. But yeah, no. Okay, so the second marathon seems like it's pretty set like that. Yeah, Chain of Memories isn't a game I'm very particular on. Dream Drop Distance, I can give or take, but I love Birth by Sleep. I really, really like Birth by Sleep. I have a very soft spot for that one. But yeah, Chain of Memories is always rough for me. I never finished my emulated versions of playing the GBA version. And I pull my hair out every time I play it, the PS2 version. I know how to break it over my knee. It just still doesn't feel fun to do. But yeah, it's like a little over 15 minutes till midnight. I don't know if I can keep the stream going that long. I kind of did everything I wanted to do tonight. Yeah, no, doing nothing with the Disney World is really sucky. And you just kind of redo the Kingdom Hearts 1 plots of those worlds in Chain of Memories, but with certain lines replaced with being about memories. It's not the best. And then the Riku storyline is just every Disney world is empty, so it sucks even more. Because you're just kind of running through it for the sake of running through those levels to just play the game. And again, the game's not particularly good. Which sucks, because I think Riku plays better than Sora does in Chain of Memories. But the best parts of Chain of Memories are when you're doing the original stuff, like all the Castle Oblivion stuff in the middle and going through Twilight Town. Twilight Town showing up in Chain of Memories is like a big what the fuck moment of that game, and it's really interesting that they do that. They start setting the seeds for Roxas there. Yeah, I can see how the card system translates over to making the command deck. Especially when you have like the slates in Chain of Memories, and then you have command melding in Birth by Sleep. It's almost a one-to-one translation of that. And yeah, enemies being able to drop zeros on you sucks. I think you can avoid that by using certain cards that forces enemy cards to be higher value. But that just means you're trying to make the rooms work around what you're using. And yeah, it's rough. I think you can do that, like you make them so that they never have zero cards, and you just use slates so that they can never break you. You just gotta use a slate so they're strong, like any slate that puts you at a value over 9, which is why I think Freeze Raid and Fire Raid get so much mileage in that game. Oh, I've never made it to Marluxia in GPA Chain of Memory, so I cannot comment on that. I think the furthest I made it was it Atlantica? I think so. No. I think I got filtered by Captain Hook in GBA Chain of Memories. Because I think Captain Hook uses zeros, and at that point, I brute forced my way through the GBA version, so being filtered by zeros was really rough for me because I didn't know how to counter against them, because I was just going, big number, big slates means I'm gonna win. And it carried me through most of the game until him, and then I just never played the game again. But yeah, what's my immediate plans for next year? I'm still in the middle of doing Silksong, so I'm going to continue streaming that. I'm going to start sprinkling in doing the Final Fantasy Marathon as well. I want to play through... Well, I had people vote on it, Final Fantasy 1, so I'm going to start playing through Final Fantasy 1 through 6. And then I don't know if I want to immediately go to Resident Evil after that or not. I think I might, but I'll see how I'm feeling after Final Fantasy. Yeah, it's been a long time. Oh my god, I'm realizing it's been almost 20 years since I played GBA Chain of Memories. I'm still debating on that. I think I'm gonna go Pixel Remaster just for the sake of keeping things moving. But I was also thinking I'd be cute and emulate the NES versions of the original games, but I think that's just gonna cause too much headaches and I'll just stick with the Pixel Remaster. Because if there's ever a point I need to grind, I can just turn on the cheat codes and grind. Not yet. I still got 11 minutes, and I'm just kind of yapping until I hit that point. I'm not sure if I'll be able to yap enough, but everyone's keeping me engaged enough to be going. We're talking about Kingdom Hearts. We're talking about future plans. Yeah, no, I need to get a new Vita. I need to get another Vita so I can hack it. I also want to get a new 3DS and get one of those fancy 3DS capture units. I don't know how much I'd use it, but I feel the need to have one. Like, being able to cover DS The World Ends With You on stream just seems like something I'd really, really want to do. And the future's fine. Nothing happening here is going to affect what's happening later over there. God, what am I gonna do for September this year? This year I did the Sonic Marathon. And I want to do something stupid like that again. But do I do the Sonic Adventure games this year? Or do I do a new franchise? Zelda would be something I'd do as a different thing. Not for a specific, I'm going to binge multiple games in one stream. Because I am not good enough at the Zelda games to binge multiple of those in one session. Yeah, I've only ever beaten one as well. I've never beaten Zelda 2, and I haven't played A Link to the Past. Zelda is one of those things where, like Metal Gear Solid this year, I'd do a stream marathon of playing a bunch of those back to back. But, like, at my own pace, not in single sitting sessions. Sorry, I will be one moment. The dog needs to go outside. I will definitely be back before it hits midnight. Okay, the doggy's going about doing his business. My exposure to Zelda, I've played all of 1. I've played a little bit of A Link to the Past, but not much. I've played a little bit of Ocarina of Time, but not much. I've played a little bit of Wind Waker, but not much. And when I say not much, I mean basically getting through the intro segments of these games. Same with Twilight Princess. And then I've played all of Breath of the Wild and all of Tears of the Kingdom. I've done Crash in the past, so maybe I'll do Spyro. I could do a Spyro marathon. Yeah, Spyro for September could work. I've still got my GameCube, my original GameCube. I want to get a CRT to plug into that. Oh, nice! Wait, is that for retro achievements, or do you mean the reignited version? Okay, yeah, the remake versions. I do not recommend doing Relics for Crash 1, that is a pain. Relics in Crash 2 are fine, because they give you the running shoes. But Crash 1, some of those levels, they expect you to go on specific cycles of the levels, and it's insane. But yeah, no, at this point, I just played the original versions of those games. Like, I played the PS1 versions because I played the remasters. They're fine, but I much prefer the aesthetics of the PS1 versions and just how they feel, and not having fucked up hitboxes. Especially when it comes to Crash. Like, Crash is a fairly difficult platformer to play, so having the messed up hitboxes and jump arcs does hurt that quite a bit. Yeah, no, Crash is a big comfort game for me. Spyro, I should play more of, because I do like the Spyro games. But every couple of years I go back to Crash and just... Specifically Crash 3. Crash 3 is my favorite game of all time, so I just go back and play that and just have a good time. The only other game I really do that with is Jak and Daxter, and Jak and Daxter isn't even my favorite of the Jak games. But Jak and Daxter is a very good comfort game. Like, it's very easy to just do a 100% run through of Jak 1. Damn, it's not even midnight yet and fireworks are popping off over here. We still got like a minute to go. Yeah, Sly 1 would fall into that camp as well. The Ratchet games aren't as easily replayable as well, I feel, but they're good games as well. But Ratchet, I wouldn't really do as a comfort. Anyway, getting the countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year, everyone. Somehow, we kept this going that extra 20 minutes. And now the fireworks are really popping off over here. So, I am gonna call it here. So I can go see some of those while they're popping. So for everyone that came by, thank you so much for watching. I'll drop these lists on the socials and everything later, so you can all judge me for what I did this year and my taste in Metal Gear. But until then, I'll be back sometime this weekend to play more Silk Song. But yeah, I'll see you all later.